Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the trivia and interesting commentary for season 2 as well as the deleted scenes from the DVD. I've made a video for season 1 already, so if you like this one I'd recommend that you check that one out as well. So let's get into it, shall we? So straight off the bat, it was interesting to learn that Patrick Stewart records his lines in London separate from the rest of the cast. I mean, this does make sense, honestly. He's a busy actor, so it probably makes it a lot easier for everyone this way. Also, apparently he is a massive fan of Beavis and Butthead, although I'm unsure if Seth MacFarlane was being a bit sarcastic when he said that. They did also say he had a real presence to him when he walks into a room, which I can see being true. You know, he's very famous, has a lot of gravitas, he's quite tall as well, so I imagine that he does have a real presence to him. So when we arrive at the CIA carnival, the commentary mentioned this Asian woman in the back of the WMD hunt and said she's been in every episode, but they didn't give her a name. Has anyone noticed this before? I really haven't. It's been previously mentioned that the inspiration for Stan's voice came from 1950s or 60s era propaganda films, see my season 1 video, but here they also disclose that Ted Knight is someone he keeps in mind, especially when Stan is laughing. They also give a shout out to Colin Heck, who storyboarded the scene of Roger at the window. They mention how beautiful the scene is and the colouring, and honestly I have to agree, this is one of my favourite stills of any animated show, so props to you, Colin, you did an amazing job. So there's a tree in the establishing shot of the Smith house that isn't supposed to be there. It's such a small detail, but when you notice it, it just throws the whole image off, doesn't it? Like, yeah, there isn't a tree there. Why is there a tree there right now? There's only one kind of beer in the show as well, seen here with Jeff. It's called Blank Bottle Red Label. So when Stan throws the knife behind him here, the writers initially had a joke where the knife went into the fridge, and then later a baby fridge would come in and see its dead mum. I'm glad they changed their minds. It's funny but a bit too much like a cutaway gag, and unfortunately that didn't make it into the deleted scene, so it must have been killed as an idea. The light in the background of this scene is always on apparently. I didn't notice it in my season 1 video, but I'll keep an eye out for this in later episodes as well. So when Klaus talks over the fight scene, this was because there were jokes written in that didn't quite land, but they didn't want to cut any of the fight choreography as it was really well done. I like the commentary personally. It's so in keeping with Klaus's character to do something like that, and it makes the fight more interesting in my opinion. I am not a big action fan. Also, when Klaus mentions the funniest joke in the episode, it was Stan saying that Kirk was a better captain than Picard, a reference to Patrick Stewart's role in Star Trek. And the final bit of trivia for this episode, the ending tribute to Jimmy Ng is an animated version of the actual room where the cast does their table reads. Okay, so into the first deleted scenes from season 2, and this is Stan at work.
Boys?
Hey Stan, did you hear about Bullock? Seems the old man's found himself a new lady.
6666666.
Oh yeah, Bullock's definitely tapping more than phones these days.
Are you guys going down?
Nah, but I'll tell you who is going down. The Cowboys, this Sunday. Yeah, I was supposed to watch the game at Bullock's, but he's gonna be plowing his new girlfriend.
All right, that's it. I'm taking the stairs.
I really like the last joke from this scene, subverting Stan's and our expectations. There's only 2 deleted scenes from this episode, and the next one is showing Stan on his first day at the new job.
Deputy Director Smith reporting for
It's unbelievable, sir. The world has descended into utter chaos. Long-simmering feuds have suddenly erupted. India and Pakistan, Israel and Syria, and one we can't make any sense of, Argentina and New Zealand. Well, good luck with the new job.
So now I'm torn on this. I like the idea that Stan gets this promotion he's willing to sell his soul and daughter for, and then immediately quitting, but also it's not that funny, so... In this episode, the commentary said that it took so long to decide where the final act was going to go. They considered having a terrorist taking over the TV network and Stan convincing him to masturbate to calm down. And honestly, I'm glad they went with what they did. Something I found really interesting is that when they were discussing the line about Stan thinking his mum is beautiful and sexy, one of Mike Barker or Matt Weitzman, it's hard to tell them apart on the track, sorry. said that he thinks Stan and his mum should bathe together and have tickle fights, which in hindsight sows the seeds for the events of episode 53, Oedipal Panties. This part comes from real life, with one of the showrunners saying his granddad had a wood burning set, and whilst this accident never happened, he always feared that it would happen. The B plot in this episode was going to be Steve joining a motorcycle gang, but they changed it to Steve getting injured seeing his dad masturbating, and it just fits so much better that way. I can't imagine why Steve would join a motorcycle gang. This episode was going to be the season 2 premiere, but they couldn't do it as there's a picture of Osama bin Laden in this scene, so the network didn't think this should air on the date it did. The date in question, September the 11th, 2006. The little snarling noise here of Roger's pancreas as it runs away is done by D. Bradley Baker, who voices Klaus, and he does an amazing job. Okay, into the deleted scenes. First up, we have an extended scene from the PSA that Stan shows to Steve.
Ball player Pee Wee Reese.
Remember, kids, the only bag you should be touching is this one.
I really love this joke. I imagine the censors didn't though. So in the commentary, they actually mentioned this next scene.
Here's your prescription, Dad.
Finally, the burn ointment.
Honey, read the instructions.
I never noticed that in the episode as it aired, the bottle is open when Stan reads the label, and that's because of this deleted scene. The more you know. Next up, Timmy is back.
God, that was close. What the hell am I doing?
I think we both know what you're doing.
Ah! You're Timmy.
Swell to meet you, Mr. Smith.
Ah! You're here to tell me what I'm doing is wrong and to warn me of what'll happen if I don't stop.
Gee willikers, no. I'm here to tell you that blind, scorned, and hairy pwned, it's all worth it.
But Francine almost found out.
So don't get caught. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to your subconscious. I'm having a late supper with your mother. Your beautiful, sexy mother.
God, he's horrifying, isn't he? I like this glimpse into Stan's subconscious though. And a slightly extended scene here. Just one extra joke.
No, really, this is the face of evil. And this is the ass of evil. And this is evil's seductively tiny dog.
They mentioned the joke about the dog in the commentary, but not why it was cut. I'm not too bothered that they cut it. It's an okay line, but it doesn't add that much in my opinion. This is so odd, but this episode is not on any of my DVDs. I checked all the way from season 1 to season 8, which is all I have so far, but I could not find it anywhere. I also couldn't find an explanation anywhere, so if someone knows, that would be a really big help. Sorry, I couldn't find the commentary for this episode, but I do have some things from the Wikia page. So the Elvish language that appears on the notes and the trading cards is actually Hiragana, a type of phonetic Japanese. The name of the terrorist, Dan Weber, is actually the name of one of the writers on American Dad. And the convention center banner is misspelt as convention, not convention. The first deleted scene from this episode is a very Family Guy type joke.
I care. There's only one thing Steve can do to remove this geek curse. Find an even geekier kid and kill him. Just like Bill Nye the Science Guy did with Carl Sagan.
Oh, it is on now, bitch. And that, kids, is how you make a baking soda volcano.
It's not funny, sorry. I'm glad they cut this. Give it to the Family Guy writers. Next scene takes us to the sci-fi convention.
And Tron gets an 8.7.
Yes! This is one 42-year-old who's losing his virginity tonight. That's right, I'm buying a hooker.
Next up...
Roger, what are you doing?
I got it! People of Earth, I've learned something today. We all wear masks. Whether you're a juice cup, or a taco, or Jabba the Hutt. The point is, stop hiding and be yourselves. Because underneath the costumes, you're all beautiful.
You're just saying that because your costume sucks.
No, that's the point. I'm not wearing a costume.
Boy, I'll say, did your mommy make that for you?
Don't you talk about my mother! She was a saint! Who said that? Which one? Was it you? You're dead, Professor Xavier!
No, please, I'm really paralyzed.
The first bit about the virgin geek is pointless, but I quite like the idea that Roger tries to out himself but just gets heckled and booed instead. Him taking it out on a disabled guy as well is so Roger, picking a vulnerable person to attack. Also, I want to see Roger's family. He mentions his mum here and that she was a saint. Let me know. So I found it interesting to know that they write a lot of the headlines in one go and then choose it at the last minute to try and stay as current as possible. And this character here with the ginger curly hair is called Mitchum. And I think they had plans to bring Mitchum back and, you know, give him a role and have him speak, but it just never quite happened. The team also mentioned that they had quite a few different people read for the part of Jack and were apparently turned down by a lot of actors before landing on Darren Norris, who was perfect in my opinion. Interestingly as well, the eye patch idea came from Nick Fury from the Marvel comics. And now this is the same sweatsuit that Stan wears in episode 2 when he's training the homeless men to fight each other. And the number on the sign on the picture of Jack here is the production code for this episode. There was going to be a scene where Francine wondered when Stan built a cell in the basement, and I was wondering the same thing when I watched the episode. When I planned on doing a season 2 retrospective that ultimately got shelved, I had a little bit about this cell and where it came from. When Stan rips a bit of painting, the network asked them to not use a real painting, I suppose to reduce potential offence to Picasso's estate. And the first and only deleted scene from this episode was made purposefully to hurt me, I think.
I can't get it.
Get what, handsome?
Your bra.
Oh, I'm not wearing a bra.
Then what's this?
Oh, that's my bone.
God, I'm gonna be sick. The light is on again. Carter Bays and Craig Thomas, who are writers on American Dad, wrote the music for A Wife, Not a Partner, and they actually wrote part 2 of Stan of Arabia. The writer of part 1, Nanachka Khan, wrote the lyrics. The team did their research at the time of writing. These were all real laws in Saudi Arabia at that time. Women couldn't leave the house without a man, couldn't vote or drive a car, and I think some of those are still laws today, unfortunately. There's a short Star Wars reference in the background here at the bazaar. I can't lie, I haven't seen Star Wars, so I'm not exactly sure what it is, but there you go. Thundercat is actually played by Paget Brewster. Oh, I love her, and once you know, you can really hear it. If you don't know who that is by name, you might recognise her as Emily Prentice in Criminal Minds, or maybe Kathy from Friends. This was originally down to be a 1-hour episode, but then the network split it into 2 parts. There was a whole other plot where Klaus fell in love with Thundercat, but they cut it, which I'm glad of. There's already so much going on here that a Klaus storyline would have just made it messy, I think. And I was really surprised to hear that Wendy Schaal was self-conscious about her singing here, but she does a really great job. It's not easy to sing well in character. And the final little bit of trivia for this episode is that Craig and Carter, the writers of the episode, were drunk when they wrote The Worst Place in the World, which, you know, they did a really good job considering. So, into the deleted scenes, there's quite a few from these 2 episodes, which makes sense. First off is an extended scene.
Where's Smith?
He was supposed to meet us here.
Hey! Give me a chance to emerge! Oh, look, you stained the sleeve.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry's useful. Sorry's not a shout wipe, is it? Men, this is the most difficult mission we've ever faced. The target? Our boss, the man who trained us, Deputy Director Bullock. We've got to plan a surprise party honoring his 25 years at the CIA. Who are you?
That's Carl. A perk of my position, I no longer need to do my own sarcastic clapping or derisive scoffing. Take a powder, Carl. No one likes a show-off. So, a surprise party for me sounds like fun. Whose idea was it?
It was totally a team effort.
It was my idea.
Good work, Smith. I'm putting you in charge. Don't let me down.
I won't, sir.
Your idea? We were in the file room and I was the one who said surprise.
And then I said party right away, right after that.
So this episode has so much going on that anything that actually makes the cut needs to be essential. None of this extra stuff is, and I hate the idea of Bullock knowing about his party. I'm really glad they trimmed this down. The next one I actually really like.
Forget it! You may keep me locked up in this house, but I control what I do in it. Or as they say in my country,
I think it would be funnier if they got faster and faster with their clapping and clicking, but compared to the actual episode, this one is slightly worse, so again, I can see why it was trimmed. The actual episode makes Francine look more badass as well, which is always a good thing for me. Now, what do you guys think of this next one?
Wait up, I'm coming with! There's booze in this country somewhere, and I'm gonna sniff it out. The nose knows.
The nose knows? That's not funny.
I know, my wit's dried up. If I don't get a drink soon, I'm gonna end up hosting a late-night talk show on ABC.
It isn't funny, but that's the point. Is it too unfunny and just slows the episode down, or would it be actually so unfunny that it loops back around to being funny? Or maybe I've just been watching these deleted scenes for too long. The next one is very quick.
I hope you're happy, Francine. You embarrass me in front of all my cool new Saudi friends.
And also quite pointless. Let's move on. The next clip gives us more interaction between Stan and Thundercat.
Husband, why are you sad? You wanted to be a true Saudi. Well, the only thing holding you back was whore. And now whore is gone.
But I miss Francine.
You still have me. I am subservient. I never argue.
But I miss Francine.
Plus, I will satisfy your every carnal urge, indulge all your sexual fantasies. I mean, you could do all sorts of sick stuff to me and I'd be totally on board.
But I miss Francine, and there's still one thing I can do about it.
Similarly to what I said earlier, there's so much plot that things need to be trimmed, and this adds very little. Thundercat has made it clear how subservient she already is. I do really like this next one though.
Howdy, Saudis. Democracy has arrived.
This is unacceptable!
Eat flag, freedom hater. Yeah.
Eat flag, freedom hater is so funny. I feel like that's something that could be in the Team America movie. But why does Bush throw the flag of Chile? I wonder if they would have added more stars if they'd have kept it in the episode. Finally for this episode, we have an extended scene of Thundercat again.
Great. Rock blocked. You're free to go.
Yes! Oh, free to go. I thought he said free to throw. Whore.
This is so unfunny. It's probably tied with Roger's the nose jokes. So something that I'd always thought but was nice to have confirmed is that they had to change the NRA to the NGA for this episode. But it was interesting to hear that they had the lines recorded with NRA in them, but then had to re-record the lines to say NGA after the legal department made them change it. The idea for this episode came from Seth MacFarlane asking the team to write an episode where Hayley and Stan sang together. The team went through a couple of ideas, like Stan and Hayley singing on a cruise together, before landing on this one. But knowing that Hayley is played by his sister Rachel, it was a really nice idea that Seth came in and wanted an episode where he and his sister could sing together. Okay, so the first deleted scene from this episode is Golden Turd scene, where we meet the widow of Mike before Jim ends his life at the train tracks.
Here we go. You know, you really shouldn't have been driving.
I just wanted to see how you've been getting along.
Oh, just great. Lost my job. I'm behind on rent. Can't get any sleep because I keep waking up on Mike's side of the bed. I'm sorry, I just feel like I'm alone in this.
It's okay. I'm here.
What are you doing?
Come on, it'll make you feel better.
What is wrong with you? You were Mike's best friend. He trusted you.
Why do you have to say that? Don't you think I feel guilty enough?
Guilty? About what?
Forget it.
Jim, what did you do?
Stay away from me!
What did you do?
This is all your fault.
The part after he leaves Mike's widow's trailer is actually in a future episode in season 3, so just the scene with Mike's widow that we end up missing out on as fans. So the scene where Stan sings silly love songs between scenes was originally going to be the theme for Arthur, which I can't decide if that would have been funnier or not, or more out of character. And the idea for Patriot Pigeon comes from writers Chris and Matt McKenna's father, who writes children's books about a penguin, which was cute. Bryan Cranston voices the publisher, and it's insane to hear the crew refer to him as the dad from Malcolm in the Middle, as this was clearly recorded before Breaking Bad started. It's clear this episode is an homage to film noir in its styling, but the montage about being a bad boy is heavily based on the Dick Tracy film. The voiceover is inspired by Sunset Boulevard, but Roger falling off the car is a reference to Cape Fear. No, not that one. Yes, that one. And the first deleted scene for this episode is an elongated version of the scene that appears in the actual episode.
Don't push, there'll be time to sign for everyone. I'm his dad, taught him everything he knows. You know, without me, that book could still be rattling around in my testicles.
Do you sign my boobs?
Sure.
Breasts are a distraction to our success.
Here's your cherry jello, sir.
Nothing that jiggles.
Good news. Roger the Alien hit #1. I just booked Steve on Captain Monty's book Cavalcade.
Sorry, once I open a can, I like to use it all. Hear that, Steve? We did it!
So, do I get the centerfold now?
No, I just said that to motivate you so you'd carry me to the top.
Dad, I can't believe you lied to me.
Really? Huh, that's kind of my whole bit.
I bet they mostly had to cut this for timing, but also the only joke in this I find particularly funny is the last one about him wanting to use a full can. The next one is Stan asking Francine to get Steve back using secret ops.
I can't believe I gave up my son for a fancy haircut.
Hey, saved your marriage.
Stan, our little boy is gone. Can't you get secret ops to bring him back?
Secret ops. You think if we had a covert reconnaissance team, we'd call them secret ops? Henrietta Pussycat to Lady Elaine Fairchild. Meow meow, we've got a leak. Meow meow meow.
I like this one. I think it can even be a throwaway. We don't actually need to see the secret ops to make this funny. Boo! Keep it in. So in the next one, Stan assaults a clown, but in the real episode, the clown gets him to strip.
Whoa! Yes! You are welcome, Steve.
Come on. Bring your frown to clown.
Oh! Oh my God!
Damn my need to finish things.
The scene in the episode is so much better. Good job changing it, gang. And just a small one up next. Not really sure what it adds, in all honesty.
And now Comedy Central presents something other than The Daily Show.
Where's that remote?
And in the final deleted scene from this episode, we get to learn about Toshi's fetish.
Your sister's taking us to see Boob Patrol.
What?
I'm doing a study for my psych class on young males and their reactions to exposed breasts.
俺なんか授業の特徴攻撃をパンツに入れちゃってるし。
Oh man, Boob Patrol stars 3 of my favorite actors, Spike Baltar and any pair of boobs.
I also like that this scene establishes Spike Baltar being Steve's favourite actor. I could not for the life of me get the commentary for this episode to play. I'm not sure if it doesn't exist, but there is the option on the DVD. It clearly says here, commentary with Mike Barker, Chris McKenna, Dan Weber, Matt Weitzman and Brent Woods. I'm going to play you a clip of what happens when I try versus what happens with the next episode.
I guess this will just have to wait until I don't have an air horn in my hand.
Directed by Pam Cook. Hello?
See, the commentary's just not there. But as per usual, the wiki was no help either. Great job all round, guys. Despite there being no commentary, we do get quite a few deleted scenes, which is great. The first one is Stan trying to replace Fussy the dog.
It's not the same.
And then after that is an extra scene of Steve and Klaus in the wardrobe.
Leroy's been running his mouth in the yard. I'm gonna need a shiv.
It'll cost you, brother. Might even cost you your soul.
Oh, forget it then.
I really like the tattoo and Steve's design. I really like the idea of Klaus being stood on his fins and then his fins are all bulked up from working out in the prison yard. I think it's a great bit all around. I'm not gonna lie, I don't get this next one.
Okay, alright, but you can see my point. Why do I even bother having Dog Fancy delivered to my house if the new issues are gonna show up on the newsstand first?
And I'm just gonna let this next one play before I comment on it.
Well, this was just a stupid idea.
Aren't you glad you went in blind to that? That's really funny, I think. Next up is another extended scene.
Listen up! My doggy is licking my roommate more than me. What can you sell me that'll get his tongue firmly back in my face?
Dogs have a pack mentality. You need to show him you're the alpha male.
How much are these?
Dogs can't read.
Damn it!
Again, quite funny. And this final one is down as a deleted scene, but I swear that's how it appears in the episode.
Speaking of killing, you know what the French call an orgasm? The little death. It harks back to the Middle Ages when only midgets were allowed to have orgasms. It's true. Read the Bible.
Was this cut out in some countries? Let me know in the comments. So the senators here are all based off real people. Stan was supposed to be pissing on the lamppost when Roger picks him up, but the network wouldn't let them do it. And the lamp is on again, but it is nighttime, and Fussfeld from Fussfeld Motors is named after a writer on the show. And this nice guy car salesman is played by Andy Richter, not Donnie, not Chareth or Ronnie, and definitely not Emmett. So the original plan for Roger was that in the first season he was in the house, second season they would let him out in costume, third season he would get discovered, and by the fourth season the world had stopped caring and Roger was chasing the fame. I think it's a solid idea, but I think his character would have become stale after the 5th or 6th season. Imagine now we're getting into season 20 and 21 of American Dad. Imagine if for the last 15 seasons the joke had been that Roger was trying to chase the fame from 16 years ago. It would get stale very quickly. And similarly to Con Air, the code on Stan's prison jumpsuit is the production code for the episode. Okay, the first deleted scene from this episode is more evidence of Linda's lesbianism.
Wow. I mean, sure, it's a fantasy, but I don't know. Do you have a particular woman in mind?
No. It's just something I've been thinking about.
Go live your authentic life, Linda. Leave Bob, run away with a woman, live your best life. Next up is a slightly extended scene from the episode. The first line is all that's different.
What do you bet this domestic abuse call turns out to be bogus?
Well, the neighbor said this guy's already on house arrest for DUI.
And again, even more evidence of Linda's lesbianism.
So we're not allowed to stay in our house because it's a crime scene, and while the kids are staying with friends, and I know it's an imposition, but could I stay with you too?
Go get some wine. I'll bet you could use a shower.
This one's a bit creepy, Linda. Leave her alone, she's happily married. They mention this next scene in the director's commentary. They had to cut both how long Francine was under the covers and how far she went down, as it was too suggestive of fellatio, apparently.
Stan, as long as you're still under house arrest, I might as well give you a conjugal visit.
Morning, friendly.
Lots of deleted scenes from this episode. We now get a glimpse into Francine's priorities.
That's it, Roger. This trading places thing has gone too far.
Really? Because I was really looking forward to helping you with your redecorating. I have a knack for sconces.
Suck it up, Stan. A deal's a deal.
I'm so glad they cut this next one.
File this contract for me, will ya? I'm gonna go curry their favor. Namaste, my friends.
I really like the joke in this one.
Hello, Stan Smith. Do you currently receive the Wall Street Journal? A little tension breaker.
And the last one from this episode is an alternative ending.
Well, did it work?
Piece of cake.
Oh, thank God.
Stan, this isn't the way home.
I know. We're making a little stop first. Someone's earned a special treat from Big Buy.
Oh, you're buying me my new TV!
What? Oh, no, I want to get myself a pair of those noise-canceling headphones. I told you I don't learn lessons.
You cold-blooded bastard!
Stuff a sock in it, Roger. The important thing is, all of us are together again. We're just one big, happy family.
So the writers actually wrote this episode in a week, which is interesting considering that there are quite a few plots going on, and the character of Arboreus wasn't always going to be in a pot and his name was going to be Twig. But I'm glad they landed on this character design. It's so funny and it comes out really well. This isn't a bit of commentary or trivia, just how did the puppy make it to the second floor? Did it climb up the house? And this car park scene wasn't in the original script. It was added at the table read and people just kept adding bits and bits to it until we got what we got. So apparently Barry originally said a man's name when Steve touches his breasts, but the writers changed it to Miss Piggy for whatever reason. And the first deleted scene from this episode should have been kept in my opinion.
Oh, it's 2:30. I gotta go meet the fellas at the movies.
Okay, but nothing scary. Remember the flying monkeys in The Wizard of Oz? You not only wet your bed, you came into our bed and wet that.
I agree about the flying monkeys from The Wizard of Oz. They're terrifying. The next one is a bit funny, but I'm glad they cut it.
Will you join us in our battle to save our leafed brethren?
I'd love to.
What? Oh no, I was just watered.
I really like this next one.
Friends, I am a werewolf. I've taken a life, and I'm sure I will again. Therefore, you must kill me. No, not that way. You have to kill me with a silver bullet.
Lots of Toshi character building cut, which is a shame. Out of Steve's friends, he's the biggest mystery. And this next one is just a throwaway line.
Oh, what does he know? The man bought a $2,000 fork.
What?
Yeah, I don't think that adds much to the episode. So this blonde bully is modelled after Billy Zane in The Karate Kid. It's so obvious once you see it. They had a representative from Fox in the commentary room and she said that one note Fox always has is Stan too crazy here? In order to combat this, they often have flashbacks to help us understand his psyche, which I really appreciate. Imagine if we didn't know about Stan's homecoming, his childhood, etc. I feel like half of the reason that we like him is because we can understand how he ended up this way. Quacky is a non-subtle reference to Ducky from Pretty in Pink, and John Cryer actually plays both characters. If you don't know who John Cryer is by name, that's Alan from 2.5 Men. Mike Barker said that this is one of his favourite episodes, but he can't fully explain why. I would have to agree with him. There's just an essence about this episode. It's really funny, it's really well paced as well, and actually it ends quite sweetly. The joke about a Star Wars band that Klaus, Haley and Jeff make when they're all high together came from the writers having a Star Wars characters in a band poster. This one was really cute. Matt Weitzman knows In Your Eyes in sign language and signed it for his wife at their wedding, but she isn't deaf, so I'm unsure why he did that. And this maitre d' is modelled after the maitre d' in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I love the 80s movies references in this, maybe that's why Mike Barker loves it so much. And finally, Mike Barker said that this is the sweetest moment in the show so far. And the first deleted scene is an extra line from Roger and Steve hitting people with water balloons.
Look, Steve, teacher says every time a balloon explodes, a delivery man loses his dignity.
Now this next one, personally, should have been kept in. I imagine it would have difficulty getting past the censors though.
Gather round, everyone! The reunion committee has dug up the class time capsule! Jimmy Gillespie's parachute pants! And Coach O'Leary's whistle, which, as you recall, doubled as Molly Rathbone's rape whistle. Molly, are you here? Oh, good for you, sweetheart. Remember, virginity's a state of mind. Thank you. Thanks for that. Oh, and looky here. The ballot box from the homecoming election!
Next up is an extra line of Roger moaning about delivering pizzas.
So, as you see, Steve, you don't deliver the pizza.
The pizza delivers you.
Okay, that's it. Please drop me back at home, or kill me. I honestly don't have a preference anymore.
again, doesn't add much. I can see why it was cut. This next one is interesting, as it's almost the exact same as the scene in the episode, except for one small detail. See if you can spot it.
My phone!
Hey, you know what? I feel like dancing. Let's go to that reunion.
No! I want you all to myself.
Oh, well then, let's go back to Quacky's. I feel like getting freaky. Third drawer freaky.
Okay, let's go to the dance. Yeah, dancing's good.
Did you see it? It's very small, but Francine's hands go lower in this scene than in the episode proper, suggesting more heavily what she's doing under that table. The idea for this episode came from the writers knowing they had to do a probe episode, which is obligatory with an alien in the cast. Roger's shirt says Italian Stallion, but it was supposed to say Free Mustache Rides, but they couldn't get it past the censors. There was a lovely story about the real-life Hideki Obayashi and Mike Barker that's A little bit too long to mention here, and B, so lovely it's better to hear it in Mike's own words, so make sure to pick up the Volume 2 DVD. And the final bit of trivia is that Dr. Gupta is played by Laura Linney, who is a queen. If you don't know who Laura Linney is by name, I can't help you. Read a book. The first deleted scene from this episode is an extended sequence of Steve running into Trudy at the shop.
Hey, Trudy.
Oh, hi.
It's Steve. I spend a lot of time by the senior locker staring at you.
Oh, well, it's nice bumping into you.
Steve. Like Steve Hislop, the late great British Superbike champion. Now you'll never forget. Yellow.
It does show Steve's geekiness and negative riz, but I'm not mad it was cut. We know Steve has no game. We have another extended scene next. Whereas the scene usually cuts off with Trudy and Miles leaving the gym, this scene has extra dialogue from Steve and Haley.
This isn't my earring. How'd it get in your back pocket?
I don't know.
Sure you don't.
Babe, come on. The seeds of mistrust have been sown.
Now they must be watered.
For their own good.
For their own good!
I like it. It shows how truly unhinged they're being, and there's another deleted scene a little bit later that calls back to these lines.
Now that the seeds of mistrust are sprouting, we must harvest them and make a spring salad of betrayal.
Next up is another extended scene. There's just one line different.
The money's for you to get a new start somewhere. It's Steve's entire college fund. He can work with his hands.
You're paying me to go away?
I think there's multiple ways you can take that line about Steve. Comment which way you took it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't get this next one, but I am determined to show you all of them.
And now here's your host, America's favorite bosom buddies, Peter Scolari and Wendy Jo Sperber.
She was in bosom buddies?
That friend.
Welcome to Best Buddies!
More shots of Stan and Roger crushing it on Best Buddies next. I did have a little giggle when Captain Monty stabbed himself with his hook. I also love Bob and Monty's friendship as a side note. When they show up in the Phantom of the Telethon episode, it's so funny. Okay, the next one is a bit dark.
Sweetheart, I know you wouldn't want to live like this. I know you'd want me to end it for you.
I didn't know Francine had a living will.
She doesn't, but she once threw out some spoiled cheese, so I'm extrapolating. Goodbye, my love.
So Stan is willing to pull the plug on his wife without knowing her wishes or even consulting his children. Top guy, top guy. I'm gonna put these next two scenes together. You'll see why.
That's right. Bo.
Yep, she'll be good as new after a year of painful and humiliating rehab.
You hear that, honey? You'll be able to come home in just a year. I love you too, Pumpkin.
I really like the one about the Vindaloo, but the first one is just pointless in my opinion. This was unfortunately another episode where the commentary was missing from the DVD. Very annoying. So we once again turned to my best friends at the American Dad Wikia, who I have never said a bad word about ever. First of all, I've never noticed that this episode is actually called Helping Handies. I always thought it said Helping Hands. Why would it be called Helping Handies? That's so yeah. I get it. So scratch my comment from a few seconds ago, the Wikia has not come in clutch this time. It's once again a list of clearly observable things from the episode. They also use an incorrect term for a transgender man, so somehow it's not just useless, but actually incorrect. Brilliant. Luckily though, there are some deleted scenes to discuss. First up, Stan was tricked into seeing Hayley's short film.
I can't believe you tricked me.
Oh, come on, Stan. We're here to support our daughter.
I knew this wasn't the way to the frozen yogurt place.
He does like frozen yogurt. There's another reference to it in Iced Babies. Next is more of Roger struggling with contamination OCD, it looks like.
Dear Diary, you'll never guess where Steve is. At the river with Vince Chung.
What the? Is that a dirty glass? I just did the dishes. The counter was sponged down, the sink was clean. Now pay attention, damn it. We're at war with dirt. And it's everywhere. Spray. Spray. Spray.
I'm gonna play this one first and then comment.
Girl on the main stage. I might have skipped the breast implants and sprung for a flesh-colored leg, but that's just me.
First of all, the disabled strip club being called the Ramp, no notes. Second, I love the attention to detail of all the dart holes in the wall. This dog is so excited to be here, I love it. And this girl on the pole must have amazing core strength. And finally, you have to love how open-minded and accepting Francine is. What a queen. I really like this next one as well.
Where are you taking us?
A place where we like to dump dead bodies.
Why are they laughing? That's not funny. Humor is subjective. Oh.
I just love that Hayley doesn't explain why it's funny, and I love Wendy Shell's oh. The next one is a slightly extended scene, just one extra line from Roger.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
My son's a slut!
I just made that bed!
Yeah, this line doesn't really add much. It's actually D. Bradley Baker making the dolphin sounds. He's voiced so many animals so far, super talented voice actor, and it makes me like Klaus more in honesty. The light's on again. They initially had Snot be the evil one, but then they realised Barry would be funnier. It is funnier. I wouldn't buy evil Snot, I don't think. Where is this room? How many rooms does the Smith house have? Is that a video you'd like to see? Me trying to figure out the floor plan of the Smith house? Let me know in the comments. So they actually had to change the colours on the Spider-Man shirt to avoid copyright from Marvel. In the commentary, Barker and Weitzman make reference to Hayley's wedding, saying one of the women with her when she's protesting will be her maid of honour at her wedding. But Hayley doesn't get married until 100 AD, the 97th episode of American Dad, not the 100th, don't get me started. But when they were doing the commentary, they were not that far into the show. They made reference to a season 3 episode that they were making. The most they could have been working on is season 4 when doing this commentary. We also don't get to see Hayley's wedding in 100 AD, so they've written or storyboarded a wedding scene or even an episode that never made it to air. The sheet music here is the note of the musical sting that plays over these shots. Very meta. So this first deleted scene, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this how it appears in the episode anyway?
This is great, Barry. Steve isn't interested in playing Red Dawn with me anymore.
I'm sorry you wasted 14 years of your life with him. Let's go get frappuccinos.
You're on.
And the same with this one.
You don't understand. He's crazy. He was talking like Gary Oldman, and he made me sleep under the bed, and then a fly crawled in his mouth, and he ate it. He ate the fly. He just ate it.
My Barry? I don't believe it.
Well, you tell Barry not to fill up on junk. I'm making tacos for dinner.
That's just the scene from the episode, isn't it? Another one we're just going to play and then discuss.
How could the dean give our Eskimo studies money to the stupid fraternity council?
It's all political. I hate it. Oh. But what is pepperoni? No, don't tell me. I love it.
I thought pepperoni was just spiced and cured pork. Is it not that? Yeah, cured beef and pork with chili and paprika. What's so bad about that? Another extended scene coming up next.
Sir, where are we?
Well, we ain't at a Denny's in Tucson trying to convince the waitress it's our birthday. We're on an oil rig in the Atlantic. Try to escape and you'll be met with deadly sharks and sniper fire. Do as you're told, and you'll find this a very safe environment. Whoa!
I like this line. This drill sergeant is a complex and interesting man. This next one is funny.
This roll's done. 1 group shot and 23 close-ups of Dugan's sack.
But unfortunately doesn't add much overall. And I think this next one is pretty pointless, as it's very similar to what's in the episode.
Well, I'm sorry, Steve. Well, I guess I should go pack my stuff so I can leave first thing in the morning.
Yeah, bit boring, sorry. I really like this next one. It's a bit long, but worth it.
If I could just find a way to call my parents.
Hey, you're in luck. I smuggled in a cell phone.
Great. Where'd you hide it?
Hello?
Barry, put my parents on the phone right now.
Oh, hello, Stephen. Funny you called. I was just about to break wind on your baby picture.
Barry, you need to take your vitamins.
I'm sorry, Stephen. I can't do that. I'll need all my faculties to get rid of Francine.
What are you talking about?
Well, it's time I had Stan all to myself. Just me and Dad.
Barry, no! Don't do this!
Take that, baby Steve.
Barry's long, pointy fingernail gives me the chills. In terms of plot though, it doesn't really change anything, as Steve would want to get home anyway, and we know Barry had turned on Francine, so can understand why it was cut. Again, lots of deleted scenes in this one. Next up is Haley's walk of shame.
Run, for the love of God, run!
I am glad they cut this. As a woman, I'd be so humiliated and angry if I was Haley, and it would sour my opinion of the episode in all honesty if they were to leave this in. And the final one is an extended scene of Stan and Steve making up.
Sorry we sent you to work camp, son. Barry really pulled one over on us.
Don't mention it. It gave me a chance to appreciate all the stuff you've taught me.
That's my boy. I'm getting hungry.
Me too.
Come on, let's go dig up your mother.
And now into the final episode of Season 2. Raina is voiced by Paget Brewster again. She's played 2 characters in this season so far. What a pro. They knew Haley would never allow Roger to treat the foster children that way, so they needed to take her out for a year. They thought of Roger drugging her or her being in a coma before landing on the illness. I think the illness is far funnier and makes the ending far better as well, where she beats it and then calls Child Protective Services on him. And so this is actually Seth singing Under My Skin. If you've heard Seth sing before, then you can kind of tell. They chose these colours for the basketball jerseys because Clooney went to the University of Kentucky. Go Wildcats! Wait, Wildcats? Wildcats everywhere! Wave your hands up in the air! On the DVD, Petka drops the babies and they dangle from her breast while still suckling. That isn't on the episode as it appears on streaming or on TV. And so, into the final few deleted scenes of the season. First up, Klaus.
Ooh, if Haley slips into a coma, I get her piece of pumpkin pie. You heard me! I called it!
I know I said D. Bradley Baker being so talented makes me view Klaus better, but this definitely didn't. Not funny. Now onto a Roger scene.
Boy, when Mom and Dad get back from their trip, they're gonna be pissed you turned the swimming pool into a vineyard.
Please, what would they rather swim in? The urine of your friends or the urine of the gods? That's what I call Chardonnay.
All done, Mrs. Smith. 50 grapevines and 12 tons of soil.
I truly believe Roger calls Chardonnay the urine of the gods. He's so trashy. Up next is an extended scene.
You were on Scarecrow and Mrs. King?
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Jones checking in.
That show made me want to become a spy. Did it make you want to become a housewife?
I really like this one. It's really funny and shows Stan's obliviousness. It's not too long either, so wasn't cut for time. There's no censor issue. Don't get why it was cut. Same with this next one.
Here's your room key, and please, have a...
Can I help you folks with your bags?
What do you want?
Brought you a dustpan of cake. What you watching, honey?
I like it. shows their dynamic really well. Stan isn't usually purposefully hurtful to Francine, he's just oblivious and stupid. And that's it, all the fun facts and deleted scenes from season 2 of American Dad. If you've stuck around this far, a massive thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's been a bit longer than a few weeks since my last video, but life has been very busy. If you could please like, share and subscribe to help the channel grow, I'll hopefully be able to dedicate more time to it. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you very soon. Take care.